So if you follow my channel, you know I review a lot of Surface devices. I reviewed the Surface Pro 8, of course, Surface Laptop Studio, Surface Duo, Surface Laptop 4. I think you get my drift. Now, last year, or maybe even a little bit before that, I reviewed the Surface Laptop Go, a budget-level Surface device that doesn't break the bank, that really brought a lot to the table, a lot of bang for the buck. So I was very excited to see that they announced the Surface Laptop Go recently, and I just took delivery of it the other day. Now it came into the studio, I've been putting it through its paces. This is not a huge revolutionary upgrade from the previous model, but we do get a better processor, you get better battery life, and I think the price to performance ratio is better here. It's a better pricing scheme, so you're gonna get a lot of bang for the buck. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is my review of the Surface Laptop Go 2 here for 2022. Coming up. And before we get to the unboxing, I want to let everybody know, in the interest of transparency and full disclosure, I'm not being paid by Microsoft. I'm not being sponsored by Microsoft. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own. Microsoft is not getting copy approval. That means they're seeing this video for the first time, just like you. Now, this unit was purchased with my own money. I did not receive a review unit from Microsoft. Now, pricing starts at $599.99, and that's for the entry-level model with only 4 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of storage. That obviously is one you want to avoid. Here in 2022, you should never consider any device, whether it be a phone, tablet, or laptop, with 4 gigabytes of RAM. It's just not enough. Now, I decided to go for the mid-tier one. That's the one for $699 that has 8 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of SSD storage. And thankfully, Microsoft no longer offers any SKU with eMMC storage, and that's great. It's all with SSDs at this point, either 128 or 256. Now, students, teachers, military get special discount over at Microsoft. That's a 10% discount, so you save a little bit on that. Those interested in checking this out, I'll leave a link in the description below for more information and where you can buy one. Now, there are some changes here this time around. We now get an Intel Core i5 1135G7. That's a much better processor than last year. Bluetooth 5.1 instead of 5.0. No more eMMC storage, as I mentioned. You now get either 128 or 256 PCIe Gen 3 SSD storage. Intel Iris graphics, no longer UHD. Improved 720p webcam. We'll take a look at that in a little bit. And there's a new colorway called Sage, and that's what we have here today. And with the specs and pricing out of the way, let's find out what you get inside the box. Let's open it up. And some really nice packaging once again from Microsoft. Lifting the lid, you're greeted by the unit itself. We're going to get to that in just a little bit. And before we get to that, let's see what else you get inside the box. You get some documentation, which includes some warranty information, and of course you get the power adapter. It's a 39-watt power adapter, but unlike the Surface Pro 8 that we looked at, this doesn't have an extra USB port for your peripherals. That's something you get on the higher end models, of course. And it uses a Surface Connect port, of course, but you could also charge via the USB-C that this also has. And holding the unit for the first time, I just can't get over how premium this is, despite the fact that it is not supposed to be a flagship high-end device, but rather more a mid-tier or budget device. It has anything but a budget feel to it. Even the bottom, which is not metal, has a really nice grip to it. I absolutely love the design on this. It's sleek, it's modern, and I'm loving this new Sage colorway. It gives it a really nice look. And at only 2.48 pounds or 1.127 kilograms, this is very portable, great to take with you on the road. Okay, let's check out the port selection. On the left side is a USB-A port. Next to that is a USB-C port, which also supports charge, by the way, so you can charge this laptop with that port, in addition, of course, to the Surface Connect port on the other side, and then 3.5 millimeter microphone headphone combo jack. And moving over to the right side is your Surface Connect port, as I mentioned earlier. And notably missing is any SD card reader, and there's no HDMI port, but I'm not surprised at this price point, and I'm not surprised by the fact that it is a thin and light laptop, so they didn't include those ports. And for those wondering, yes, you can open the lid with one finger, and the screen will only go as far back as you see here. Now, one thing you're going to love about this laptop, and as I did last year with the first edition of this, is the keyboard. It's a really nice keyboard. It's got good tactility. I like the key travel. Just so comfortable to type on for extended periods of time. Even though this is only a 12.4-inch device, it still is very comfortable. I really am a big fan of Surface keyboards in general. But one thing that was missing last year, and once again it's missing this year, and I think it's a miss, of course, is the fact that there's no backlight on this keyboard. Had this had a backlight, this thing would have been amazing, I guess as a cost-saving measure. But I think now in 2022 at $500 or more, you must include a backlit keyboard. I would pay the extra $20 or so that it costs to put one in. And of course, it will use a little bit more battery life, but at the end of the day, I would definitely think that this needs a backlit keyboard. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. And I thought the touchpad was very responsive. Remember, it's a precision touchpad, so you're going to get that really smooth scrolling with the two finger scrolling, and all the gestures work as you'd expect. No complaints on that front. And let's talk about the display. What we have here, once again, is a 12.4-inch PixelSense IPS display. It's a touch display with a resolution of 1536 by 1024. That's 148 pixels per inch. And yes, it is a 3:2 aspect ratio. Now, it's not quite full HD resolution, but at a 12.4-inch diagonal display, it's not a huge deal. And I think this is actually a really nice display, despite the lower resolution that we'd like to see. Now, as far as the brightness is concerned, I measured 360 nits. It is a glossy display, so you will notice some glare and reflections depending on your lighting conditions and in direct sunlight, so keep that in mind. But it is a really nice display at the end of the day, despite not having full HD resolution. Now, as far as the coverage of the color gamut, it worked well. It's not the greatest that I've ever seen in terms of that, but at this price point, I thought it was pretty decent. It also has a decent color accuracy. Anything under 2 is, of course, is good. So that was good in that department. And you get the really deep blacks and everything you'd want to see in terms of the wide point, the good contrast. It's all there. This is a very good display. Now, it is a touch display, as I mentioned. However, it does not support the Surface Pen. It didn't support it last year. It doesn't support it this year. Not a big deal in my book, because this is a clamshell, not a convertible or detachable. Not having the pen, I should say, is not a deal breaker. And of course, it doesn't have the thinnest of bezels, but not bad for this price point. So this is the front-facing camera on the brand new Surface Laptop Go 2 here for 2022. It's an improved 720p webcam, slightly improved, I would say. What do you think about it for video quality? What do you think about it for the audio quality of the mics? Let me know. Now, there is no IR camera on this, so there's no Windows Hello login with face recognition. Now, if you get the two models that are not the basic entry-level model, or the ones with the 8 gigabytes of RAM, those will come with a fingerprint scanner. The power button will double as that fingerprint scanner. But if you go for that entry-level model with only 4 gigabytes of RAM, that one won't have it. And that's a model you want to stay away from, as we'll talk about in this video. But what do you think about it? Is it good for your Zoom calls? Is it good for your work from home needs? Let me know in the comments section below. And thankfully, Microsoft no longer offers that 64 gigabyte eMMC version. Just 128, 256 PCIe Gen 3 SSD storage. And as you can see from the reads and writes, much better than last year in terms of those reads and writes. So looking much better. And my unit has 8 gigabytes of LP DDR4X RAM. It's running in dual channel mode, and it is soldered into the motherboard. That means you as the user cannot upgrade it down the road. And it has Wi-Fi 6 along with Bluetooth 5.1. That's an upgrade over last year, which had Bluetooth 5.0. Both working really well so far. No complaints on either front. And it has better repairability for both the display and the keyboard over last year's model. That is certainly a welcome addition. Okay, let's talk performance, and this is running the Core i7-1135G7 11th gen processor that we saw last year quite a bit, And it is an upgrade over the 10th gen processor from the original model of the laptop Go that we saw. And you'll definitely see a better improvement in terms of the graphics. No longer do you get UHD graphics on this. You get now Iris Xe graphics, which are a lot better. Although this is not a gaming laptop in terms of playing AAA titles, but you can play some older titles if you lower the settings. But by no means is this a gaming laptop per se. So just bear that in mind. And you can do everyday things such as Microsoft Office, email, web browsing. It all worked well. Consuming media worked well. Watching 4K videos worked well. There was a little bit of stutter in the beginning, but that's pretty typical of any Windows laptop. Once it gets going, there was no hiccups. There was nothing wrong with it. Everything worked really well. And there is a single fan for cooling, but I never thought it got overly loud in terms of the fan noise, even under heavy load. So that's been pretty good, pretty quiet. It's not fanless, but it is pretty quiet at the end of the day. And the surface temperatures never got overly hot, with a few hot spots here and there, but for the most part, relatively cool. Now, Microsoft claims this will get 13.5 hours on a single charge. That's being a little bit generous. I don't think you're going to get it. In fact, I did my initial battery test, and it did 8 hours and 47 minutes on my continuous web surfing test over Wi-Fi at 150 nits. So real-world mixed usage, you're probably looking at anywhere from 6 to 7 hours. But please keep in mind, everybody's use case is a little bit different, so your mileage may vary. And it takes a little less than 2 hours for a full charge with the included 39-watt power adapter. Not too bad. And just like the original model, this has omnisonic speakers with Dolby Audio Premium. I thought they were pretty good, actually, considering the size of this laptop. It actually filled up the room pretty nicely. Now let's give it a listen. I'm going to play something from Epidemic Sound. If you want to become a member of Epidemic Sound to get a subscription, you're going to get a 10% discount. See the link in the description below. Let's give it a listen. Okay, let's bring it all home. What do I think about the Surface Laptop Go 2 from Microsoft here in 2022? And I gotta say, nice improvements across the board over the previous model. I like its sleek, compact design. I like the better performance you get with the 11th gen CPU. I like the nice 12.4-inch touch display that worked really well. Decent 720p webcam. In fact, I think it's a little bit of an improvement over the last version, that's for sure. Really comfortable keyboard, as I mentioned. New Sage color, which I really like. Better serviceability, as I mentioned. And it is affordable. And I think the pricing scheme is a little bit better now that they got rid of that 64 gigabyte eMMC version. And I think everybody should definitely stay away from a 4 gigabyte of RAM version. You don't want to get that. That entry-level model is not really worth it. Now, the things I'm not crazy about, there's still no keyboard backlighting. I think that would have made this a really great laptop. It's not a deal breaker, but it's something they need to put in next year. I think any laptop with a minimum of $500 price tag needs to have that. No Surface Pen support, not a big deal since this is a clamshell. At the end of the day, it's not a convertible, it's not a detachable, so you're really not going to take notes on this. You're not going to sketch out artwork on this. Just something to be aware of. Stay away from that entry-level model, as I mentioned, and it has that less than full HD resolution, although at a 12.4-inch diagonal size, it is not bad at all. In fact, I really do like this display. So if you're in the market for a really nice Surface device that doesn't break the bank, this checks all the boxes, with the exception of not having that backlight. It's a really nice device, especially if you're a student or want a secondary device. This is a good choice. So what do you think about this bad boy, the Laptop Go 2? And this is the brand new Sage Green. It's really nice. It's like a grayish green, like a dark gray. Really nice, actually. I kind of like this look. It's an all metal top over here, but of course this is polycarbonate, and it has a really nice grip. It doesn't feel cheap in any way. This whole device feels very premium, as you'd expect with any Surface device. No flex, if any, in the chassis, and you gotta love it. Very thin and light, again, 2.48 pounds, 1.127 kilograms or something to that effect. Very, very easy to throw in the bag, take with you on the go. You now got the 12.4-inch display. It's the same as the last generation. Less than full HD resolution, but not a deal breaker. It's still a crisp, sharp looking display. It's bright, 360 nits, good color accuracy, decent coverage of the color gamut. You can expect anywhere from 6 to 7 hours of battery life on this, of mixed use as I showed you in the video. So really good stuff. Stay away from the $599 model that only has 4 gigabytes of RAM. And at a minimum, you have to get 8 gigabytes. That's what I did. This is the $599 version. 8 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigs of SSD storage. It is upgradable, as well as the display. Serviceability is actually better, as well as the display. And of course, the keyboard, more serviceability this year, something that they've been harping on. That's been pretty good. But I'm curious to know what you think. Let me know in the comment section below. What do you think of this device? I really do like it. I think it offers a lot to the consumer. If it's a secondary device, if you're a student, if you're in the military, you get the discount. Teacher, you're going to get the discount. Check it out. Again, link in the description below. So please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, my website, amdtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew from AMD Tech. See ya.